Have you ever noticed how weakness doesn't always scream? It whispers through the words you speak. Imagine standing in front of a locked door. You have the key in your hand, but instead of turning it, you whisper to yourself, "I can't." That single phrase doesn't just keep the door closed, it convinces you it was never meant to open. Because that's how weakness works. It doesn't always scream. It hides inside the words you speak every day. Words that sound harmless, even logical, but quietly set your limits. You think you're being realistic, humble, patient, but every "I can't," maybe later, "it's not fair," is not just a sentence, it's a surrender. It's like carrying invisible weights. Every excuse adds another stone to your pockets, making you sink deeper into hesitation. Or think of a soldier who sharpens his sword yet never steps onto the field. He mistakes preparation for progress. That's what weak language does. It disguises fear as reason and hesitation as humility. Because the truth is, your words either chain you or change you. So stay until the end. Because once you learn the 7 words that quietly reveal a weak mind, you'll never speak them again. Let's begin. Number 1. I can't. Let's talk about one of the most damaging phrases you can ever say. I can't. It sounds simple, even harmless, but those 2 words have the power to trap your mind in limitation. The moment you say, I can't, you're not describing a fact, you're creating one. You're building a wall between yourself and what's possible. Every great achievement, every act of courage, begins with the belief that maybe I can. The second you replace that belief with I can't, your mind stops trying, your spirit shrinks, and your potential remains locked away. Here's the truth. Limits start in language. When you say I can't, your brain accepts it as a command. It stops searching for solutions and starts building excuses. You might think you're being realistic, but in reality, you're teaching your mind to surrender before the battle even begins. And the more you say it, the deeper that belief roots itself into your identity, until eventually, it's not just something you say, it's who you think you are. This is where Stoic wisdom comes in. Marcus Aurelius once said, "What stands in the way becomes the way." The Stoics believed that obstacles aren't barriers, they're invitations to grow stronger. Every challenge you face isn't meant to stop you, it's meant to refine you. The phrase, I can't, rejects that process. It's the refusal to learn, adapt, and endure. The Stoic mind, however, replaces I can't with how can I? Instead of seeing a dead end, it looks for the next step. Instead of fear, it chooses resilience. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Thomas, once dreamed of starting his own business. He had the idea, the vision, but every time he thought about taking the first step, his inner voice whispered, I can't. I don't have enough experience. I don't have enough money. For years, that phrase kept him stuck. Then one day, a mentor told him something simple. If you keep saying you can't, you never will. Replace those words with, I'll find a way. It sounded cliché, but it changed everything. Thomas started small, researching, saving, learning. Every obstacle he met, instead of saying, I can't, he asked, how can I? It wasn't easy, but step by step, he built something real. And when success finally came, he realized it had never been about talent or luck. It had been about belief. So how do you break free from the trap of I can't? First, catch yourself in the act. Notice every time those words try to leave your mouth. Second, reframe it. Replace I can't with I'm learning to, or I haven't figured it out yet. This shift keeps your mind open and your confidence alive. And finally, remember that growth is uncomfortable by design. You're supposed to struggle. It's part of becoming stronger. At the end of the day, I can't isn't the truth. It's a habit of doubt. The Stoics understood that strength begins in the mind. So next time you face a challenge, don't let those two words define you. Replace "I can't" with "I will," because what stands in the way isn't your limit, it's your path forward. Number 2, maybe later. Let's talk about one of the most seductive lies the weak mind tells itself. Maybe later. It sounds reasonable, harmless even. You're not saying no, you're just saying not now. You convince yourself it's logic, timing, patience. But the truth? Maybe later is procrastination disguised as wisdom. It's how comfort quietly kills discipline. Every time you say it, you push your goals a little further away, and one day you wake up realizing you've been waiting on later your whole life. Here's the reality: delay is the enemy of mastery. When you tell yourself you'll start later, read later, learn later, train later, you're feeding the illusion of control. You assume you'll have the same motivation tomorrow, the same opportunity, the same strength, but you won't. Time doesn't pause for hesitation. The Stoics knew this better than anyone. They lived with the awareness that every moment could be their last, and that waiting for a perfect time was a polite way of saying never. Marcus Aurelius said, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one." In other words, stop thinking about what you should do and do it now. The Stoic doesn't wait for motivation, he acts. He doesn't wait for the right mood, the right day, or the right plan. He moves with purpose because he knows hesitation weakens the will. Every maybe later makes action harder the next time. Every delay builds the habit of avoidance, and every moment wasted is one you'll never get back. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Jacob, had a dream of getting in shape. Every morning he'd wake up and say, "I'll start tomorrow." Then tomorrow became next week, and next week became next year. Life moved on, but his excuses stayed the same. One day, after a health scare, his doctor told him, "You don't have time to wait for the right day anymore." That sentence hit him harder than any workout could. He realized his life had been a string of maybe laters disguised as patience. The next morning he started small, just a walk, a few minutes of effort, but that single act broke the spell. Over time, that later he kept chasing finally became now. So, how do you overcome this mindset? First, recognize that later is an illusion. There is no perfect time, only the time you choose to act. Second, shrink the task. Don't aim to do everything at once, just start. Take one step, even if it's small, because momentum builds from motion, not intention. And third, live by the Stoic rule of immediacy. If it's worth doing, do it now. Waiting for the right moment is how the average stay average. Acting now is how the wise rise above. At the end of the day, maybe later is comfort, whispering in disguise. The Stoics understood that self-discipline isn't about speed, it's about presence. So stop waiting for tomorrow. The moment you say, "maybe later," remember, you're not postponing the task, you're postponing your growth. The strong mind acts now. Number 3, it's not fair. Let's talk about one of the most common phrases that reveals a weak mind. It's not fair. You've heard it, maybe even said it yourself. It's what people say when life doesn't go their way, when effort isn't rewarded, or when someone else gets what they wanted. But here's the truth. Fairness is not owed, only effort is. The moment you start believing life should be fair, you set yourself up for endless frustration. Because fairness isn't a rule of the universe, it's a human expectation. The Stoics understood this deeply. They knew that life is unpredictable, often harsh and indifferent to what we think we deserve. When you say it's not fair, you hand your peace over to circumstances beyond your control. You start focusing on what you can't change instead of what you can. Complaining doesn't change outcomes, it only keeps you stuck. But composure, calm acceptance followed by wise action, changes everything. Epictetus said, "Do not wish for things to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do." This isn't about surrendering to fate, it's about aligning yourself with reality. When you accept that life won't always match your expectations, you stop fighting the inevitable and start working with it. The strong mind doesn't waste time demanding fairness. It adapts, endures, and keeps moving forward regardless. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Emily, worked hard for a promotion. She gave everything to her job, late nights, weekends, complete dedication. But when the opportunity came, it was given to someone else, someone with connections, not results. Her first reaction was anger. It's not fair. And she was right. It wasn't. But that thought didn't help her. For weeks, she stewed in resentment, replaying it over and over. Then one day, she remembered something her father once told her. Life doesn't owe you fairness. It offers you chances. What you do with them is up to you. That line changed her perspective. Instead of staying bitter, she used that frustration as fuel. She improved her skills, built new relationships, and within a year, she was offered an even better position, one she wouldn't have gotten if she had stayed trapped in anger. Here's the lesson. Fairness is not a right. It's a luxury. You can't control who gets the breaks, but you can control your reaction when you don't. Complaining keeps you small. Adapting makes you powerful. Every time you face unfairness, you have two choices: waste energy resenting it, or use that energy to rise above it. So, how do you handle unfair situations the Stoic way? First, expect them. Don't be surprised when life tests you. It's part of growth. Second, detach from the outcome. Focus on your effort, your discipline, your integrity. That's where real control lies. And finally, use every setback as practice for resilience. Every time life hits you hard, you get a chance to prove your strength. At the end of the day, the world isn't fair, but it's still full of opportunity for those who refuse to play the victim. Don't demand fairness, demand growth. Because the Stoic doesn't ask, "Why me?" He says, "Let's see what I can do with this." If you've watched the video this far, don't forget to leave a comment with a "Thank God" and give it a like if you enjoyed the content. Your support means a lot and motivates me to keep creating more interesting videos. I hope you find inspiration in them and that we continue learning together. Thank you for your support. Number 4, I'll try. Let's talk about one of the most deceptive phrases the weak mind hides behind. I'll try. It sounds responsible, even humble. You think you're being realistic, avoiding overconfidence. But the truth, I'll try, is hesitation in disguise. It's the language of someone leaving the back door open for failure. When you say, "I'll try," you're already preparing to quit. You're signaling to your mind that effort is optional, that success depends on luck, not discipline. Here's the truth. Trying is hesitation. Either do or don't. The Stoics believed that indecision is weakness because it splits the will. Half effort produces half results. When you approach life with "I'll try," you give yourself a psychological escape route. You're not fully committed, which means the moment things get difficult, your mind retreats. And discipline, real discipline, cannot survive in a mind that entertains retreat. Epictetus once said, "First say to yourself what you would be, then do what you have to do." In other words, decide who you are and act accordingly. The Stoic doesn't say, "I'll try to be better." He decides, "I will be better." Because strength starts with clarity. Every action is a reflection of identity. When you commit fully, your energy aligns behind that decision. When you merely try, your energy scatters, divided between doing and doubting. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Ryan, always talked about writing a book. For years he'd say, "I'll try to start next month." Every month turned into another excuse. Work was busy, life was stressful, the timing wasn't right. Then one day, a friend told him, "You've been trying for years, but you've never actually started." That hit him hard. The next morning, Ryan made a different choice. He didn't try. He wrote just one page, then another. Some days it was messy, some days it was brilliant, but he kept showing up, and eventually his book was done. The moment he dropped "I'll try" and replaced it with "I will," his life changed. So how do you break free from the trap of trying? First, remove the word from your vocabulary. Replace it with action-based language. I will, I am, I do. These words command your mind to commit. Second, accept that failure is part of doing. The Stoics taught that effort without attachment is power. You can't control the outcome, but you can control the act itself. And finally, hold yourself accountable. If you say you'll do something, follow through. Every broken promise to yourself weakens your will. Every fulfilled one strengthens it. At the end of the day, "I'll try" is the language of uncertainty. The Stoic mind leaves no room for that. You either act or you don't. You either move forward or you stay where you are. The wise understand that mastery isn't built on trying, it's built on doing. So stop saying you'll try and start doing what you were meant to do. Number 5. It's impossible. Let's talk about one of the most paralyzing phrases the weak mind loves to repeat. It's impossible. Those two words have killed more dreams than failure ever could. They sound final, absolute, logical, but behind them hides fear, the fear of effort, of uncertainty, of pushing beyond comfort. The moment you label something as impossible, you give yourself permission to stop trying. You convince your mind that progress is pointless and your potential becomes imprisoned by your own belief. Here's the truth. Every great mind was once told it's impossible. Every innovation, every breakthrough, every act of courage began with someone refusing to accept that limit. The Stoics understood this well. To them, difficulty wasn't a wall, it was a test. They knew that the mind grows only through resistance, the same way the body strengthens through labor. When you call something impossible, you're not describing reality, you're defining your threshold for discomfort. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." Think about that. Every time you face something that feels too hard, your mind is being trained to handle more. Obstacles aren't meant to stop you, they're meant to shape you. The Stoic doesn't argue with difficulty, he transforms it. He doesn't waste time saying it can't be done. He asks, how can it be done? That shift from complaint to curiosity is where strength begins. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Ethan, dreamed of becoming a pilot. But growing up in a small town, everyone told him it was impossible. It costs too much. You'll never get accepted. People like us don't make it that far. For a while, he believed them. But one day, he came across a quote that said, "The obstacle is the way." He realized that the very thing people called impossible was what made the goal meaningful. So he started small, took local flying lessons, worked extra jobs, studied relentlessly. It took years, countless rejections, and endless self-doubt. But eventually, Ethan earned his wings. The same people who once said, "It's impossible," were now asking how he did it. The answer was simple. He stopped believing in impossibility. So how do you overcome the mindset of "it's impossible"? First, challenge it. Whenever that thought appears, ask yourself, is it truly impossible or just uncomfortable? Most of the time, it's the latter. Second, break the task down. The mountain looks impossible when you stare at the peak, but manageable when you focus on the next step. And finally, embrace difficulty. The Stoics saw struggle as sacred. It's the path to wisdom. If something feels impossible, it's probably worth doing. At the end of the day, impossibility is just perception. The limits you believe in are often the ones you've created. The Stoic knows that the world doesn't change by avoiding difficulty. It changes when you face it head on. So next time your mind whispers, "It's impossible," remember Seneca's wisdom. Difficulties strengthen you. The impossible is just the starting line of transformation. If you found this valuable, hit like and subscribe for more powerful insights. Number 6. I don't care. Let's talk about one of the most misunderstood phrases people use to sound strong. I don't care. It's a sentence that often wears the mask of confidence. People say it to appear detached, unbothered, unaffected by what others think. But here's the truth. In most cases, I don't care isn't strength, it's avoidance. It's emotional armor people put on to hide disappointment, fear, or rejection. It's easier to pretend not to care than to admit that something hurt, mattered, or challenged us. The Stoics never preached indifference to life. They taught balance within it. They didn't say, "Feel nothing." They said, "Don't be ruled by what you feel." There's a difference. When you say, "I don't care," you disconnect from life, from responsibility, and even from your own growth. But when you practice calm engagement, you stay centered. You face reality without being consumed by it. Here's the truth. True strength is calm engagement, not cold retreat. The Stoic doesn't hide behind apathy. He acts with composure. He still feels deeply, but he chooses not to be controlled by those feelings. Seneca said, "The wise man is not unfeeling. He is unmoved by chaos." That means wisdom isn't about shutting down. It's about standing steady when everything else trembles. Let me share a story. A man I know, let's call him Daniel, went through a painful breakup. For weeks he kept saying, "I don't care. It's fine. I've moved on." But everyone around him could see the truth. He cared deeply. His denial wasn't peace. It was pride. One day, a close friend told him, "You keep saying you don't care, but you do. And that's okay. You don't need to stop caring. You just need to stop letting it control you." Those words hit him hard. Slowly, Daniel began to face his emotions honestly. He acknowledged the pain, reflected on it, learned from it. Over time, he didn't become colder. He became calmer. That's what Stoic peace truly looks like. Not the absence of care, but the mastery of it. So how do you move from apathy to true calm? First, be honest with yourself. If something hurts or matters, admit it. Denial doesn't make you stronger. It delays your growth. Second, practice detachment, not indifference. Care about what's right, but don't let outcomes dictate your worth. The Stoic learns to invest effort, not emotion, into what he can control. And third, replace "I don't care" with "I accept." Acceptance is courage. Apathy is escape. One frees you, the other blinds you. At the end of the day, "I don't care" might make you sound strong, but it keeps you small. The Stoics knew that caring wisely is the mark of maturity. Strength isn't about feeling nothing. It's about feeling everything and staying composed anyway. So next time you're tempted to say, "I don't care," stop and ask yourself, are you protecting your peace or hiding from your pain? True power lies not in detachment, but in calm engagement with life as it is. Number 7. It's just who I am. Let's talk about one of the most limiting phrases a person can ever say. It's just who I am. At first, it sounds honest, even self-aware. You might think it's about accepting yourself, but in truth, it's often not acceptance. It's surrender. It's the mind's way of saying, I've given up on changing. When you use that phrase, you're drawing a box around your potential and calling it your identity. You're telling yourself that growth, improvement, and evolution are for other people, but not for you. Here's the truth. That's not identity. It's surrender. Real identity isn't fixed. It's fluid. You are not the same person you were 5 years ago, or even yesterday. Every experience, every challenge, every choice shapes who you become. The Stoics understood this deeply. To them, life was a continuous process of refinement. They believed that the self is not something you discover, it's something you build. The moment you stop evolving, you stop truly living. Epictetus said, "No man is the same from moment to moment. Growth is nature's demand." Think about that. Nature never stops changing. Seasons shift, rivers flow, mountains erode, stars burn and fade. Everything in existence is in motion. Why should you be the exception? When you say, "It's just who I am," you're rejecting the natural order of growth. The Stoic doesn't cling to old versions of himself. He adapts, learns, and transforms. Because strength isn't found in staying the same. It's found in becoming better. Let me share a story. A woman I know, let's call her Claire, used to struggle with anger. Whenever someone called her out for it, she'd say, "That's just who I am. I have a short temper." She wore it like a badge of authenticity, as if it excused every outburst. But over time, her relationships suffered. One day, a close friend told her, "That's not who you are. It's who you've chosen to keep being." That line stuck. For the first time, Claire realized her "I am" had become an excuse. She began studying Stoic philosophy, journaling her triggers, and practicing patience daily. It wasn't easy, but slowly she changed. She didn't stop being herself. She became a stronger version of herself. So how do you break free from the trap of "it's just who I am"? First, challenge your labels. If there's a trait holding you back, don't claim it, change it. Second, see growth as identity, not opposition. Evolving doesn't mean betraying yourself, it means honoring your potential. And third, adopt the Stoic mindset of progress over perfection. You won't transform overnight, but every small improvement matters. At the end of the day, "It's just who I am" is the language of stagnation. The Stoics knew that character isn't inherited, it's cultivated. You are not a finished product. You're a lifelong work in progress. So stop defending your limitations. Let go of the version of yourself that no longer serves you and step into the one you're meant to become. Because the wise don't say, "It's just who I am." They say, "It's who I'm becoming." If you believe this video can help others, give it a like. It helps the YouTube algorithm show it to more people. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content coming your way. Share your thoughts in the comments. I will definitely reply.